Eh, 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 eh. Test. Yeah, we should be live now, right? Correctly? Hello, 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 hello. Test, hello. Yeah. Is this thing working properly? Yeah, it is. It is working properly, it seems. Let me, just in case, also check over here. Uh, I. What? What's up, man? What's up with this thing of yours? Where you tell me that I don't have anything working over here? What is your one? Test? Okay, no, it works perfectly fine. Uh-huh. I forgot something. Give me a second. Okay, there it is. Uh, so, with this, we should be fine, I guess. Yeah? Yeah. Uh, wait, what? What's going on? Let me see. I am missing something over here. What is the problem with this? Okay, there it is. No, what? I don't know. I I guess it just crashed or something. Anyways, so um, we're working basically. Here we are. I guess so. Um, so yeah, I'm basically fine so far at least. We should be without any particular problem now. Um, doing everything fine. So without further delay, sorry for that. I am. Hello, everybody. Once again, another beautiful occasion. In this case, for me, certainly a night. Um, we find ourselves gathered to think a little bit more, I guess, and to do some brain exercises, as I would like to call them lately, because we might as well continue with what we left before and what we were trying to talk about the last time that we found ourselves discussing anything here. And yeah, I mean, I I had something to do and I forgot to do it. My bad. Um, okay, there it is. I guess. Let me pin this. Yeah. Also pin. Hello. Pin. Pin. Are we pinning this thing? No. No, we don't want to pin anything. Hello. Pin. Pin. There it is. I guess. Okay. Fine. I can now be um, not so worried. Well, I mean, unavoidably, I will, as always, be worried about things that I might have out of my control because it is bound to happening. But um, aside from that, we have everything properly set up, I guess. So, with that said, now I yeah, just in case as a little bit more of context, take into consideration that it might not be fully visible. Um, this is continuing what we were trying to discuss last time because I I know that we left the idea itself kind of unanswered or not fully displayed because it has too many different things that might be necessary to completely analyze when it comes to try and discuss or to try and comprehend and make into a fully fledged base of knowledge, let's say. So certainly that is something that has been buying me since the last occasion, as I had been trying to portray on my mind how to continue with what was it that we left with. And certainly it wasn't that bad because I was kind of able to follow up everything that I said, and for myself also have a good train of thought, let's say, so we are not dealing with something so kind of unrequited or so strange to me that it it ends up becoming truly hard to connect with now. But as always, I think kind of a tendency of mine to fear the possibility of over explaining things and delving too much on other ideas that might as well be unnecessarily uh, complex, let's say. But yeah, basically something like that. Something like that, I guess. Well, I mean, still, it was so far as long as I am capable of remembering, it was kind of comprehensible what I tried to explain last time. So yeah, um, as I said, we shall try to continue with that same thing. And well, some proper kind of warnings, and so I think it is very necessary for me to accept that certainly I might be not simply, yeah, I might be a little bit high on energy, but on the negative side because there is as always with anybody a certain point where you know that you have enough energies to perform the different tasks that you have to do on your life, let's say. But there is also a point in which you have so much energy contained inside of yourself that you know we are kind of going to do not so well because you are not going to have the capacity of paying attention into what is it that you are doing. And sadly, this isn't this isn't the case for me of having enough to simply do well. It is more like, yeah, being caffeinated doesn't really feel that much good when you have to use your brain instead of simply act based on reflexes and such, I guess. But I mean, it is still quite enjoyable to be in such a mental state, I guess. It it wasn't to me so apparent that I was so incredibly affected, so it has been kind of amazing to go through this whole experience. Al- Although it might sound more impactful than what it really is, or I might make it sound negative because I certainly didn't expect it to be that intense, I guess. But I don't know. Once again, that is one of the few things that I might as well never fully comprehend, because sadly I don't have the capacity of feeling everything that is related to this, at least in the moment. Later on, probably I will have to check how is it that I overall existed, I guess, because one of the one of the few things that I took into account, or not that I took, kind of the opposite, that I didn't even expect was for me to get so lethargic, kind of. And also, welcome. I hope you're doing well, man. Um, welcome. But yeah, something like that. I didn't expect to be so brain scattered. I what? This no Bunkum. What have you said? This can't be 253. No Bunkum. What are you saying? This can't Bunkum. This isn't true. Let me check. Also, but let me check. Give me a second. Is this true? This can't be right. I did. What? When did I do? What? When did I do so many streams? What? I'm amazing. I didn't expect to. What? I, yeah. I I didn't even take into account that I did the 3 streams after the 251. I I was thinking that certainly it was like 253 or 252 or so. But there it is. Finish that right here, right now. And after we finish, I might also have to, let's say, yeah, remember to edit the title of the bot because it sadly doesn't save with the latest, or yeah, with the last name that you leave it on. So yeah, that is something that I will also have to fix. But anyways, um, so yeah, as I was saying, that no, that is a coincidence also. I want to justify myself. That is a coincidence, an occurrence, better to say, that happened because I didn't pay attention, I guess. I didn't check or I didn't take into account that it was going to happen like that. But yeah, um, thanks, Muko. I I didn't I didn't I didn't see that coming. See that one in particular coming. But yeah, aside from that, as I was also saying, I I didn't expect to be so, what was it? Brain scattered. And it certainly is nice to see a sudden surge in your energies to a certain extent because now you can do more things, but also to have it all in control might as well be harder than harder, yeah, than what it might be mm, told. Because you never really realize how much of an energy you already have when you are on your regular amounts of rest and such, and proper, yeah, and proper diet and such. So when you out of nowhere get such an increase in your levels of energy, it is that then you find out how much of a not simply weird thing, but also invigorating feeling it is to see that now, as I said before, you have the capacity of doing so much more. And because the desires of doing so much more than before start to accumulate one with another in a sense of wow, I can now pay more attention to what I am hearing and might as also be capable of taking into account what others are saying and might as well see or predict or be more capable of analyzing stuff and such that correlates with almost any area at all in life. You start to stack up things that you wish to do while on that energy surge, and because time still moves at the same pace, but only, yeah, time moves at the same pace and you don't really have the capacity of moving faster than time, let's say. So the anxiety that you also get from something of that sort is incredibly big, incredibly big. And I know that also one of the few definitions that might be used for anxiety is this sense of dread found from the unknownness that lies in the future. But the reality is, you might as well get this type of anxiety where you find yourself not being able of perform as much as you want in the present moment. Therefore, you wish to accomplish so much more, but you are mm, harnessed by different conditions that are completely unavoidable to yourself, let's say. And because of that, it is then that you find out that you can do more to a certain extent, and to in on the other end, sadly, you get almost like more limited or something like that, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. It is once in a while I will argue it might be a good experience to have, to try and take something like coffee, or to try and get a sugar rush if it is something that we can properly limit, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. It still is weird to notice how much of an effect something that is supposedly normal for everybody has on the body and even more on the mind, but it still is enjoyable, and it is still even more feels good to experience once, so that in the next occasions you can come back to it and kind of take advantage of it better, I guess. Because sadly, if you're not aware of how much of an effect, if yeah, of an effect it has on you, you might never have the capacity of fully exploiting all of its constituent. What is it? Constituent part, I think it is. And once you go with your mind prepared for analyzing what is it that you're going to go through and what are the different things that you may take advantage of when you find yourself once again in such a moment, it is then that you can see, and it is then that you can get the capacity, or at the very least in the next one, the capacity of not simply feeling good, but rather mm, controlling so much more the situation, I guess. And well, in general, that always applies to so many areas in life that it is almost perplexing. But yeah, basically something like that, I guess. I guess. And well, uh, that is the whole first idea that I had before really starting, and before really moving into what is the continuation of the analysis that we were doing last time. Um, yeah, so I guess I don't have much more to say. I hope. I yeah. Sadly, as I said, um, scattered terrain. You get too few ideas. Yeah, too few ideas remain on your actual train of thought. So you have to force them to appear, and to do it consciously is incredibly hard. It is possible, and it isn't really that tiring, but it is hard. So it gets complicated. And even more when you have to kind of, like here, for example, try not simply to improvise, but more like go with the flow. And you find yourself that you have, because you can only focus on one thing so much, you run out of what is the present idea, and you need to scramble almost the next one, or what should have been the next one after this one was finished, let's say. But I don't know, it is more like, as I said before, anxiety taking control. So yeah, aside from that, let us probably start, I guess. I hope that much more to say. We are probably going already in a loop, so moving on from this after I drink water. So yeah, this is everything that we did since the last occasion, and this is everything that yeah, just in case, kind of obvious, the writing isn't remotely the same. I I don't remember. I think it was I was so tired when I finished this that I didn't notice. I turned off my PC before saving, so I lost everything. I lost not everything. I lost, aside from, I think it was this part over here. Aside from this, I ended up losing everything else. So that was rather funny. That was incredibly funny, because I had to go watch the whole pod and skim through the different things that I end up writing to put them once again here. And well, one of I don't really see if it is in any way useful or not, but one of the few things that I am proud of is the kind of occurrence, I don't know, of finding out that really I was capable of putting ideas at the very least for me in a way in which I can fully see what is it that I needed to move, based only on what I see here and without having to what is it, rehearse what I talked about before. So yeah, we might as well not have any problem with that particular side, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, sadly, I was tired. Sadly. So that's why everything might, well, as I said before, aside from this, everything else might look different. So, yeah. Um, so, I. What I remember was that, funnily enough, I was I was trying to explain this one, and out of nowhere, Krita decided to um, die. And that's why. And now I remember. Krita decided to die when I was going over this wheel from this was the first one, this was the second one, this one was the third one, which I was trying to explain. And when I tried, I don't, yeah, this I don't remember if I did fully explain this one or if I was trying to move into this one or to check what was it that connected those concepts. Because when I tried to move the camera or to move the canvas, whatever it is, it crashed. So that's when I lost everything. But now we shall hope, we shall pray for Krita to not crash. Yeah. So, anyways, continuing with this, I guess. Um, we ended up. What? This is a plus. I for a second I didn't even understand what did I put here. My bad. I guess my handwriting is bad. I guess. Man. Um, what enticing each other. And I said, what? But anyways, continuing, yeah. So we left on how is it that you can try to utilize or how you might perceive in a mildly positive way what is the whole concept idea of having hope, objectives, faith, whichever way is it that you said to call it. Because it it might as well be, as we kind of explained before, necessary to have it, and it might also provide so many different necessary parts to the life of any individual that you might as well, if you are capable of noticing that you lack it, and also are conscious of these different roles, let's say, kind of inducing yourself a sense of you, or sense in which you can now take advantage of the fact that because you see in so many aspects of your life, the different advantages that it brings to your own existence, and it also gives you so many more tools to, in a sense, keep existing, then it is that you can now say, fine, I might as well try to do this one thing and not worry about almost anything else, because at the end of the day, certainly you can enjoy being motivated or driven by any kind of factor, because that is also part of this. We are not simply sticking with, oh wow, why would it be necessarily beneficial for you to try and, let's say, have this one faith of, if you believe in a god, or if you believe that you are going to contribute to society, or if you believe that you're going to become um, the the most successful person in this one field because you're doing this type of actions, it isn't, at least so far, that we are discussing any particular one thing. It is more like this the simple common factor that appears behind all of those different ways in which an individual might find or might be, yeah, might start believing that they are now given the possibility of working towards the future, let's say. And with that explained, kind of resumed what was the whole first session, I guess. We can continue because here is, as I said before, the how to utilize it and how to see it, kind of. Because, once again, I kind of said it, well, yeah, I kind of said it on my perspective, but in general, the first thing, as always, is when you have the capacity of understanding what different things affect you and how it is that you can now take advantage of these concepts and to kind of have them at hand and to not simply see them as something that happens out of nowhere and that gives you the possibility of having an easier time, but rather being capable of observing in which ways it will affect your existence and in which ways also you might have the chance of not simply exploiting but also giving it the best possible outcome, as it might as well be in the best of your interest to see that you might desire, in this case, as always, we're always pre-assuming that the individual has a desire to live on, let's say. So, as long as you fulfill those different roles or those different conditions, and now you also start to comprehend in which ways these concepts affect you, it is that then you have the capacity of applying them, and also not only the capacity of applying them, but also the almost once again, yeah, the desire of yearning for even more understanding about these different founding factors inside of what is not only your existence, because at the end of the day, certainly we might as well be individuals which have so many mm, correlative conditions in what is our own life that we have to a certain extent to deal with the yeah, with the accepted fact that we are once again or more on the real sense individuals who have so many individualities in their lives that we can't be considered a mass, but also to notice how it is possible, although you are an individual, to still find it something useful for the aid of those who are around you, and how this minimally, I wouldn't simply say impressive, because the point here isn't to be impressive, it is more like, okay, it is impressively necessary for you to try and aid those who might as well be next to you, as it moving into the second one, that when you have these different tools at your hand and when you can ensure the usage of these different concepts in your own existence, as it says here, you can kind of ensure and you can secure you, your own proliferation in life, as it unavoidably happens that by, let's say, by comprehending which types of condition apply to your soul and which types of interest might you have as an individual, it is then that you can now extrapolate this into what becomes the plan for yourself at the end of the day, or for the different objectives that you decide to set if you believe in something else that might as well rule your existence or whatever. But that is the point. That by using these type of things, it is that you can now move into what becomes this not simply overarching interest on moving forward, but rather you can move into the phase of ensuring that these different things will allow you to not be so worried about what becomes the necessity of your actions, and not simply the necessity of your actions in life, but also the most important thing. I, I see it as, yeah, a parenthesis. At least that is what I see on my case. The capacity that it gives you to stop worrying about why your actions need to be so, but rather to comprehend that now you don't have to, at every single step, ask why is it that you are, let's say, spending so much of your own time, focusing on different things that might as well be completely unrelated to what you are or to what you might as well be wishing for. Because, and I guess this might as well be revised later on. The more you have it defined and the more you can certainly know that what you are following is bounded by a comprehension of your objective, it is that you can allow, I guess, yourself at the end of the day to comprehend why everything is like it is and not have to, once again, as I said, analyze why things are like that or why is it that you might as well put your efforts towards this thing. Um, One of the easiest examples is if you don't even see a point in having a work, you're probably going to consistently complain because you have to endure the pain of having a work. But on the other hand, if you have a family and you understand the necessity of sustaining your family, because you understand the necessity of sustaining your family, it is that now you can not complain so much or even avoid completely the part of complaining about what ends up becoming the quote unquote blessing of having a job. Because as long as the payment is provided to you, you now have something that allows you to sustain your family on one hand while also ensuring that in this particular role that you're fulfilling, as once again, as long as you're capable of um, remaining on that place, you will have those two conditions properly always met, let's say. So yeah, something like that. And I guess kind of already explained a little bit of that one thing that is the third point here, that certainly when you also see why things are the way they are and why your actions need to be in a certain order, or why is it that you can not only skip things ahead or try to modify what was the different objectives that you set on your own life, let's argue, that you now can say that all of the things that you're doing have a sense of worth behind them. Because once you fit things into this whole model of reality which you are following, and once you are more capable than before of saying that certainly what the wholeness of your actions is, it is that you can justify, not simply comprehend, but rather justify what what what's the point behind everything. Because I it yeah, it is kind of rude to say that sometimes depressed people lacks the capacity of seeing the point behind things, because the worst type of depression also comes from the saddening reality that they might as well see so many things supposedly so clear that they end up believing that no matter which things they try on their life, they are not going to find any way in which they can avoid the the negative consequences of their actions. But in a shallower sense, sometimes it can happen that somebody ends up developing a mild case of depression because they don't even realize what's the point behind, for example, easiest thing, waking up. Why was it necessary for me to keep existing in this world if I would pretty much rather stop and cease every type of action that exists behind myself, and even more try to not even be in these type of places, because I don't see why is it necessary, and I don't have any particular reason as to why it will be for me an obligation to fulfill. Is it really, um, let's say, for the whole structure of the world, necessary for me to keep existing? And is it, can I really bring something minimally useful to what is a world filled with 7 billion other human beings? Is it really possible why would I even try it? And when you start to ask yourself questions like that, and you find that at least from your perspective they have no proper response, and that you might as well have a better time giving up or exiting this life, let's say, in a more appropriate way, because certainly it isn't simply that you wish to end the suffering. It is that more so there is no real point behind the suffering. If you had any particular reason to continue with that, it would then become once again what is the real point. You are now purpose driven, but because you are not, it is that you can say and suddenly comprehend fully that it is not simply a sad time to exist in, but also an even bigger problem leading or being born, being born from the reality of things not even making a coherent narrative for what is your efforts put into, once again, anything that you're trying to go for or trying to do. But yeah, and the fourth one, in this case, that is, and now finally we might as well be dealing with something new. um, why is it that when you start to use these different types of tool, it becomes a habit for you? It is that seeing it from this perspective, maybe not maybe uh, that is a filler word of mine. Um, Not only you start to make sense of your more basic actions, but the more basic things you have covered, the more you can advance into a deeper comprehension of even more profound and more complex ideas, and the more you can even what is it? Connect all of those things, sorry. Um, the more you can allow all of those things to be interconnected into your whole network of concepts that drives you or gives you a sense as to why you are putting any effort behind your existence, once again, it is that then you can ensure that certainly you're going to try it, and certainly you're going to try more and more, because so many things make sense that there is no question for you to really ask. And although this doesn't really have to deal with the point in hand, that is somebody simply deciding to exist in the world, let's say, and sadly, it happens that as human beings, we have this kind of predisposition of asking questions even to the supposedly most understood things that we have in life. So it ends up becoming a reality that when we face the challenge of questioning and truly observing which things we are doing and for which purpose we are also doing them, it is then that once again, if you have something really grounded and if you have something that you can truly comprehend as real, you will not even struggle so much. The problem is certainly that it sounds like the biggest promise that you can even hear from somebody, because it means like, wow, you will have such an easy life. And what gets left behind is that you might as well meet people that are 30, 40, 50 years old that might as well have never fully developed networks of realities like this one, and you might as well find yourself in a sea of human beings that not out of the desire of harming you, but simply out of the habit that is also to live the day by day life, um, find that they might as well be telling you it isn't necessary for you to kind of root everything and to make sense out of every single thing that encompasses your existence. So, certainly it is hard to see how it can become a habit, or even more, how it is that if it supposedly is easy and it becomes easier, why some people never had it or never have developed this tool on their lives and might as well never do. Yeah, kind of, once again, parenthesis. No matter which reasons it is that they finalize their whole natural life or that different conditions make them experience an earlier thing, yeah, end point of their lives, let's say, no matter which one it is, you will see that people, some type of people, might as well have never developed something of this sort. The point here, I guess, it is kind of harsh, really, because at the very least, if you don't even have it, you shouldn't be so much worried about what everyone else is doing, but rather trying to see in which way you are trying to have something of this sort or failing on having it. Because, and I guess, if you have never tried to have a tool like this one in your own existence, it will become a pain to now adhere to all of this suffering that might as well seem to be unnecessary, or if you can't fully rationalize what you're doing, will always be unbearable. So, when you can overcome those barriers, you will see how much of a good thing it was to have them. But until that point, mm, no, until that barrier is broken, you will also be part of those who say, or who almost, I don't know if it is a really predicate or not. I don't believe it is more. It is more like simply showing the example by your own life, something like that. You will become part of those who can't adhere to any long form of planning or long form of being driven towards something. Although it might also happen that, sadly, and after some reading, I can fully accept this is where you see what is very, very well known in the culture as if you don't have something that drives you forward, you might as well be doing the work of somebody else. Because in this case, let's come up with an example, I guess. Um, if you have never seen it as a necessary step for you to exist, and if you have never even felt like it was an obligation for you to try and solidify what you already know about this world and what becomes a guiding force for the rest of your life, in all of the remaining years that you will have on this earth, um, you will might you might as well buy what somebody else says as being the reality. And if it sounds enticing enough, you might as well start to not simply buy it, but also work for it. As it's, let's say, if I promise to you that by okay, by fulfilling my plans in life and by being able to adhere to what I preach and to what I promise, you will now have not only an easy life, but you will get as many things as you want, because this ensures that your path is going to be so easy that nobody is going to be capable of stopping you. If I promise something like that and you haven't by yourself developed an understanding about how you should be the one who is in control of these types of idea, or at the very least tries to filter what is a promotion born from the intentions of somebody else who isn't you, you might as well simply buy what I told you and believe that, wow, this human being who is so nice and who is so selfless and so interested in giving me this type of help and this type of tools and providing me with so much aid. No, man. It isn't simply so simple like that or so nice like that. And sadly, this isn't really the point to a certain extent, but you might as well try to analyze what somebody is telling you something that sounds so incredibly good to you. Because sometimes it doesn't really come at the cost of nothing. If I were to, for example, let's say, continue with that, tell you that you might also be capable of saving so many other people by preaching this, or by preaching not only this one idea but also everything else. And you might also have the capacity of giving them a purpose by seeing that by working you can buy even more and more of all of these beautiful things and all of this beautiful content that is provided to you right now, and how much of an incredible thing it will be for you to give so many money and so much opportunities to somebody so poor like me. No, man, no, it isn't like that. That you have the capacity of also discerning what is true and what is real ends up being the fifth point. Because to not analyze what is being given to you by the outside world is to fall prey of that same outside world. Because what gets lost in the middle of talking about the outside and inside world is that we can't avoid any of those. And if you don't have in control your inner self, the outer one is going to get controlled by whatever is surrounding it. Let's say, because how will you be aware of your necessities, and how will you be aware of what you have to do in life if you haven't even stopped to think about it? And that is one of the main reasons as to why, for example, you might see somebody who seems completely um, burnt out by their jobs, by their actions, by their hobbies, whatever it is, and realize that, man, this one human being certainly doesn't even know why they are doing these things. Yet they somehow come back every single time to this same thing. The same concept is applied to here. You sadly don't have the capacity of noticing which things you are being attracted to if you don't develop the capacity of judging what is outside there and what tries to manipulate you towards these, as I said before, so enticing, supposedly good things that come with following the plans of somebody else and whatever else. Um, so yeah, I guess that is certainly now the fifth point. Eh, yeah, I was going to say good and bad, but in reality, it is more like this. No, the other side. Wait. Okay, there it is. Yeah. So basically, that I guess certainly it might as well be an almost an obligation for you to try and have that. If I don't know if we're really remaining on this topic or not at this point, if we decide to dwell on this, because it is by itself one of the most intrinsically necessary things for you to have, and obligatory concepts for you to develop when you're interested in having what can be called hope or objectives in life or whatever it is. That is to see that somebody else might as well try to give their objectives to you and tell that their objectives might as well align so much with yours that, wow, you should completely become part of the plans of this one person, of this one goal, of this one company, whatever it is. And if you don't stop to think about it and you don't have the capacity of realizing that you're getting attracted to what might as well never really align with what is your existence and what are your inner intentions, you might as well get completely lost. And to some extent, you always hear people say, or not that every single human being comes to this realization, but that, let's say, 90% of the world says, wow, I wish I was capable of knowing what I was doing instead of randomly going forward in life. Because that is the point of this. You have to realize that you have so many things in control, and you can, by developing a proper comprehension of what are your efforts, your work, what is your time being spent on, what is it that you're moving yourself towards, and what might as well result in, as the consequence of your actions, repeated patterns, whatever it is, that you can see if you are going to where you want. And sadly, to a certain extent, it also comes with the reality that you might never fully know to which extent it is that what you're wishing is fully real to you or is being kind of stealed by society. Because from the most realistic perspective, we might never comprehend if it is truly necessary for you to be a doctor, as to a certain extent you have your health covered already by doing the most basic things in life, that is to have a, a proper a proper diet, a proper sleeping schedule, obviously in the diet, a proper hydration, and to have a proper self-care routine in general. So what comes after that? Is it really necessary for you to try and save somebody else's life? Is it really an obligation for you to put yourselves towards the pain of becoming what ends up being a doctor as an entity? Is it really an obligation for you to follow so many years and to spend so many nights without sleeping well, without having so many of those same cares fulfilled, for the sake of also helping others? Maybe you can see that you can live in the middle of nowhere, as they will say, and still exist as a being who is capable of sustaining themselves. But maybe you might also want to contribute towards the whole society. And why will it be necessary for you to contribute to the society? Why wouldn't you want to be left alone? And why wouldn't you wish to be instead somebody who doesn't worry about what the rest of the world is or isn't doing? As in reality, you are already fulfilled with your existence and you have done what you have to do. And why would you even, for example, need to leave descendants, as to a certain extent you're not going to live their lives and whatever? Those different questions might, at least so far in the present, not have a definite answer. So, not really in a sad way, because that is also the fun of that you can fully define those questions by yourself and for yourself. And now that you have those things fully known and fully realized for you yourself to see that, okay, by doing these different things, I can ensure this type of outcome by following this career. I can ensure that this one objective of mine is going to be useful. Sorry, is going to be fulfilled by, I don't know, by becoming a doctor. I ensure that at the very least a minimal part of the population is going to always survive, as at the end of the day it happens that because I am fulfilling my role in society, it also happens that society is having a minimal amount of health, and because a minimal amount of humans are going to keep living as I have taken care of them, I might as well have also given them the possibility of understanding was it necessary for them to take care of their own existence. Now I can ensure that the whole race is going to keep existing and the whole human species is going to last longer because of my contribution. On one hand, on the other, you might say, wow, because I'm working on these different fields of development, I am now creating different tools that might as well give the possibility for the world to see and to start working on what ends up being um, one of the best things that they might ever face. And now we have so many different tools that are not only on the mental side, but that end up aiding us in our daily lives, that we have it so much easy, and this and that, and so many different contributions. Like, because I am becoming somebody who entertains others, I can ensure that a certain amount of the society is always going to be happy because I am giving them the possibility of finding something interesting enough that they might as well find their interest satisfied enough to the extent to which they can keep doing what they want to do with the world and whatever it is that you want to justify. Whichever kind of option you wish to go for is there for you to craft and is there for you to fully, let's say, put in a proper position so that you wouldn't have the necessity of asking anybody if this is true or not and if this is necessarily a good objective or not. So, yeah, something like that, I guess. Um, Now, where do I fit out of this shit? I don't know. Give me a second. Because I might have gone completely out of way. Uh, Let me see. Uh, I think it goes more like the. What is it to crop to pizza? Mm, almost finished, I think. Efforts? Yeah, certainly efforts. I think I kind of said this before, no? I mean, I'm pretty sure I have used the word before, right? Uh, no, I didn't use it. What? What the fuck? I was pretty sure I did. I don't know. I guess so. I guess I didn't use it somehow. Uh, but yeah, now I I I have been trying to avoid this, but I have to take a little break. 1 second, please, because I am almost shaking in my boots, as they would say, uh, because of the desires to live for an instant. So yeah, excuse me for my improper behavior or something like that. I need to 1 second. Hi. Well, here we are, basically, because certainly we we have to continue. As I don't know, I don't know which scene to use. I guess this one for a little bit. Yeah, this one. I prefer to stay here a little bit and to stretch a little. So far, yeah, we have. I think I might try to check that in just in case, but I think we developed the most basic things so far to comprehend this whole concept. Let's say, because it sadly happens that it isn't really that complex in the sense of wow, this makes no sense whatsoever, but rather it happens that it can go into so many directions that to finish only the most basic things is hard enough as it becomes a reality that certainly you have the possibility of distracting yourself too much with the minute details of this whole idea or concept or whatever it is. But yeah, basically that I guess. We have the basics down. I think so. But yeah, give me a second because I want to check. Mm, yeah, okay. We might as well start to develop the different parts that come after this, I guess. Um, as to yeah, so many possible responses and so many com- comprehensive points that end up solidifying this idea. As I said before, to fully put this into perspective allows you to have it easier because at the end of the day, if something is missing in the whole puzzle that is your life to a certain extent, you might as well not see a point behind continuing with that. So yeah. Um, Continuing. Let me go back into this. Here we are. Yeah. So we can continue anywhere. Yeah. That's kind of the problem. We can move anywhere that we want now, kind of. I guess we have to do this one because I left that alone without explaining that one, which I said I was going to do, but I ended up doing this sixth point instead. Sorry. Let me separate this. I guess I will try to separate everything in reality, no? Just in case. That one. Should. Mm-hmm. Not necessary to separate that, but yeah. Anyways. Um, so we have to explain. Yeah, okay. Well, why is it unnecessary for you to comprehend? Why would you want to discern what is being sold to you? And the whole explanation was kind of told as to because you can see what are the not simply the intentions behind it, because that also comes with a comprehension of different characteristics that drive different human beings that surround you, in a sense of wow, they might as well really be somebody who is interested in giving me something good or something bad or whatever. Aside from that one, you might want to not be swayed into following what is given to you, and you might want to build by yourself what is your own definition of words, instead of saying, wow, this one thing that was told to me was a good thing at the moment, but after X amount of time, because it might happen at any given point, and you might as well never really see it coming, that you are going to hit the wall when it comes to seeing what you're doing as worth it, and what you were given might not be truly what you wish for, or what you ever have truly thought as a useful thing for you to do and to spend your efforts on every single day. So yeah, that is the point here. That behind discerning what is being sold to you, um, I know I am pretty sure I said this one. That doesn't look like a chi. Can I write about chi? What the fuck? What did I do, man? How? How did I do that? eh, about you. I changed colors. What? I don't know who did I do that. There it is. You can, yeah, basically what I'll raise. You can solidify your own goal while not being swayed by whatever else is being proposed to you as supposedly the necessary thing for you to do. And from here, you can move into. I think what I'm going to use might as well not be the proper term, but I can see really a better one. um, Yeah, I don't think skip is the really beneficial word in this definition, but still, it fulfills its role minimally well so that it becomes understandable. Uh, okay, there it is. So yeah, basically that's the second part. I don't know if I said it or not in reality. That because you can now see which things are truly good and beneficial for you, you can in the process. I wouldn't simply say skip as I said here, but more like now. Yeah, along the way of working with the desire of getting a proper vision of what is worth for you, you're kind of in a definition of being conscious and responsible with your actions. Along those same lines, you're taking in your hands the responsibility of not postponing the pain that will unavoidably come later on in life when you at some point or another find that it was all meaningless, but rather you're facing it in the present and having the possibility of questioning if what you're doing is really good, necessary, beneficial, whatever it is for you, or if it was all rather a time waste and obviously an effort waste and life waste kind of. So, by taking in your hands the responsibility of analyzing if what you are going for is minimally good for you and is minimally necessary for you or whatever, it is then that you can now move into the second part of knowing that what you are doing is, after all, useful for you or useful for somebody else, whatever kind of definition you go for in reality. That is kind of the crazy thing, I guess. Well, I mean, yeah, being conscious about what we are saying so far, there might be also a problem where we haven't really discussed at all what might be the different outcomes of realizing not only that you have this, but simply at wow, you can have so much free will and feel so motivated towards anything that you will not even see it as a necessary thing for you to kind of move forward in life or something like that, in a sense of helping others or whatever else. Because although we're not really trying to discuss anything of that sort here, I will argue that the benefit of ensuring that others get to know this is one of the main components of this, I guess. But certainly, it also sadly happens that, for example, the question of why wouldn't it be good for anybody to simply live out in the middle of the forest, subsisting by themselves, has not yet been fully responded by myself for myself. So yeah, maybe with that we are going to struggle a little bit more in the future. But so far with this, we have a clear map, I guess. So yeah, that is the second side of this. Of now that you have things mapped out, you can not only avoid what is being told to you, but you can also not have to deal with the problem of this was unnecessarily damaging for me. and this was unnecessarily a waste of my own existence for the sake of simply doing something instead of not doing anything. So yeah, continuing. Um, Holy. Mm, mm. Wait, I have to fit a long word here. Fuck. Okay. Kind of. Yeah, kind of. You can barely perceive that as an. Kind of. You can understand what it says there. Kind of. I have. Side note. I have changed this fucking letter so many times that now I probably know it is an E instead of an A because it is pronounced existence. It is existence. Wow. Thank you, English, for being once again the most wholesome language out there. Ah. Anyways, so yeah. Sorry. Sorry for derailing into a little bit of a rage. Continuing with this. Now, explaining a little bit more or tying this up, this explanation of why using this newfound concept that you decided to create mm, consistently becomes a habit, and why this habit will be minimally useful for you, it is that as long as you maintain this type of habit, you have the capacity of, as I said, not enduring so many times of pain, or even if you find yourself enduring times of pain, you have enough of a reason to justify the endurance of them instead of believing that because there is no real reason for you to go through such trials, to such pain, you might as well completely quit the first time you face pain. So, yeah, obviously, it is kind of necessary for you to create something of this sort if you once again find it necessary for you to keep existing. If you, on the other hand, have come to the conclusion that mm, the path of ending what is your existence so far as soon as possible, and you work towards the capacity, not the capacity, sorry, the path of believing that it is necessary for you to remove it, to remove yourself as fast as possible, as much as you can, you might as well find that it will be the only kind of a response that you will have towards this type of ideas. So sadly, certainly, you might as well try to avoid something like this. It isn't in any way whatsoever a benefit for you to be like that. And I I guess we might try to avoid. Sorry, what? We might try to explain something like that, and might, well, yeah, obviously try to avoid in going down the route of wow, everything is so bad and everything is so dark, and oh my god, my life is so worthless. Nah, yeah, this isn't like that, I guess. So yeah, um, continuing. Well, yeah, this is in reality. I don't think it is that much of a necessity for me to explain any of these two much more in detail. Um, they might as well be interchangeable. Let's say that having one kind of helps the other, because if you can ensure your existence, it means that you have seen a reason behind everything. And if you see a reason, you might as well not be lost in the sense of, wow, why would I even try for this one or other thing? So, yeah, it, it is like that. It is true that you gain responses to many of the different questions that you might ask yourself throughout life. If you decide to face them and try to answer them as best as you can, I guess. And I guess this is the part where we I don't know how much of a detour we're going to take here, but yeah, we might as well start with this because certainly that is part of this whole idea, and that is a truth that shouldn't be hidden behind simply saying, "Wow, it is going to be so good to know where you're going." But I don't know. I mean, people forget that it is like that and forgets to tell others how much almost I wouldn't want to say pain, but yeah, at first it might feel like one of the worst things you might have decided to delve into, because truly there is no particular reason for you to try and go through these types of tribulations, as they will say, nor there will be any particular reason for you to endure so many things that might always correlate to what is mm, this. Sorry, I needed to take a second. It happens that sadly, by deciding to answer so many of the questions, you are going to take probably one of the worst hits that almost anybody is going to face in their lives. Um, and by doing so, it is that, yeah, you get all of these different benefits, let's say, but in the process, you will experience so much, not simply pain, so much deceptions, deception, sorry. What's, what is the translation? Yeah, so many disappointments, so many moments of sadness, and so many instances where you might think that it wasn't at all worth that the, the whole exertion brought by this process. I wouldn't simply say it is unbearable to a certain extent, but rather you might as well really try to justify why you're doing it, or you will end up giving halfway. Let's say, because it really is unavoidable, man. It really is unavoidable to feel like it was all unjustified at some point or another, to suffer through so much and to suffer through so many different questions or to whatever. There it is. There it is. Basically that by deciding to put yourself in the fire of a process like this, um, you will learn the the amount of suffering that is required for you to find a proper response that will give you complete hope or whatever it is that you're looking for at the end of the day. Um, so yeah, basically something like that. I guess that is the sad truth about this. That unavoidable pain. But I guess you can connect this with what I explained before. That you are deciding to skip the pain later on because if you don't take this toll where you decide to learn why what you are doing should be justified, when you find yourself in a situation in which you now have to comprehend or try to put into perspective why your efforts are minimally worth in the future, and you have never dealt with anything of this sort, the toll, and obviously the bigger this type of question is, the bigger the toll that will get imposed on you will be so unbearably big that you might as well give up so incredibly easy that it will truly lead to what was mentioned here. You becoming somebody who is lost, purposeless, or the worst type of ending possible, kind of. Finding a reason as to why it is justified for you to not try anymore and to simply go for the mm, biggest desire, which you now believe that it is almost good for you to live this life that you're living. So certainly, deciding to kind of put forward this pain will give you the capacity of not suffering so much in the future and not, I wouldn't simply say shattering at the first problem that you encounter, because that is kind of disingenuous from anybody. We are not really that incapable of surviving so many problems in our lives, and we're not really incapable of going through so many experiences in our lives. So truly, you don't have to believe that you won't have the capacity of being capable of understanding this or whatever. You you simply feel and you simply learn to live with this. So yeah, basically that you let's say reduce the probability of being crushed by the pressure that is life itself, and obviously even more if to a certain extent you can justify as much as you can everything else. When you have the capacity of doing so, that you can almost say it is probabilistically speaking zero chance for you to fail against any kind of problem opposed to you by life. When that happens, you can say surely enough that it was worth enough to go through the pain and through the different motions of asking all of these questions that now might as well seem like the worst pain possible, because you did what was in your hands to not have to go through the worst type of outcome possible. As discussed before, deciding that you're not deciding, feeling that you're lost, feeling that you're purposeless, deciding that it is worth for you to simply exterminate yourself from this reality, whatever it is. So yeah, justifying things is painful. It's incredibly painful, I guess, but it is worth. It is certainly worth. So yeah, and also before it leaves my mind, thank you for lurking, Bunkum. Um, yeah, let me drink some water because I might as well want to see where we shall move on now. Well, I guess certainly one of the few problems that we haven't dealt with, and I think we can move on into the second layer of this now. I am pretty sure because yeah, there isn't that much more for me to say. At least here, no. Let me. No, yeah, there isn't that much more to say. Although I have a tiny this. I don't know if I can really try to fit all of this on this one layer or if I should try to make a new one. Uh, what's to do? Uh, let me. What would be the wisest choice? I mean, okay, let's make a new one. Let me see if I had this. Yeah, okay. Uh, okay, basically, let's see. I should be capable of fitting all of this on a kind of side note. But yeah, if I don't, I will have to move into a completely new second layer. Um, no. Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 okay. Before continuing, yeah, yeah. I kind of naive to me for me to believe that I was going to be capable of explaining so little with so much stuff to say. Yeah, I will let me move this. How do I move stuff? Move this. Okay, what the fuck is this? What? Hello? Okay, there it is. So, yeah. No. So yeah, this is kind of the second page. Why is it that we created this whole idea of hope and its necessity? Um, once again, kind of understand, please, that there are like 50 different definitions that might as well fit this whole concept. Be it hope, the drive force, interest, objectives, goals, whatever you want to call it. We are simply going with hope for this occasion. Please don't believe that, wow, he's only referring about hope. My driving force is so different from this that, no, man. Uh, it is all the same in this case. We're not really discussing that much of a specific thing here. So, yeah, please be bearing with me. Uh, I should worry about this. Wait. Give me a second. I don't have anything transparent behind this, right? Yeah, okay. A second, I got scared. I don't know why. I don't know why. Just in case. Yes, here. Okay, we have like 20 different explanations. Wow, I didn't think about this. Yeah, the consequences of my own actions are facing me once again. This, what isn't it like? But okay, I have to certainly accept that I can say, wow, why, as I said before, why have we made out of these concepts and we believe that they are necessary? I can say, yeah, as animals, we have the desire to proliferate what is our existence and the existence of our whole race, and we cannot avoid any of these type of feelings. And I made it obviously short. I can't explain why that happens. I am not somebody who has every single response on this universe so far, sadly. So I can't really tell you why every single species is driven towards survival and why would we ever want, as even more the only type of truly conscious beings and self aware type of beings in this planet of ours, Earth, to keep existing when we have the capacity, sorry, of rationalizing our actions. So yeah, I can't give you that one. I, I don't have that capacity, but I can tell you that yeah, once again, now for real, as animals, we end up feeling inclined towards ensuring that our next generations are going to exist and that we are going overall not simply as a race, but more like as a lineage to keep existing. In this case, we shouldn't really delve into the once again minute details that come with this because certainly there are some parts of the animal reign in which we find it necessary for us to try and kill those who might oppose our interest and who might as well seem to not go so in line with what we are wishing for and what is our actual objective and whatever else um, that comes from the animal kingdom and so on and so forth. As it is also true that because animals want to, more than anything else, as I said, proliferate their lineage, not the whole survival of the species, but rather their lineage and whatever, we don't have the necessity of dealing with that so far. We might as well mention that it happens as something, funnily enough, that because we're conscious, we can avoid it. And because we have the capacity, once again, as I said, of rationalizing our actions, we can see why it will be unnecessary for us if we decide to go only with that one narrative. Let's say, um, So yeah, just in case, if it isn't obvious enough, we're moving from that one now. Oh, can I write properly? What's up, bro? Okay, there it is. Okay, there it is. The second one, as it is kind of being displayed here, it is that certainly, as we are rational beings, we have the capacity of putting into basically what we discussed before, putting into perspective and explaining the different reasons and giving all of them a sense as to why they really should be this way and not this other one. Doing so allows now to justify why is it that we should maintain and work obviously on ensuring that it is maintained as much as possible. So certainly it seems to be from that side also something that I wouldn't simply say becomes unavoidable, but rather we had integrated as a necessity. And because it also needs to be justified from this other side, because we see it as a necessity, we see it as something incredibly full of potential, whether it comes from the side of a, and this is where it gets problematic, because you need to apply it to your own understanding of why is it necessary for you to keep living and why is it necessary for you to keep going, as every single one has their own definition. And that's why the potential is so important on this, because whether you see it that you, after doing everything well throughout your life and fulfilling all the different roles that you have, you're going to get ensured that you're going to go to a certain place of bliss, that you're going to go with a certain God, that you're going to live in a certain type of heaven, that you're going to go to a certain new earth, that you're going to be reborn into a certain type of animal, that you're going to ensure the survival of the whole species as a whole because you did everything so well. Whatever type of reason it is, once again, that you decided to go for, will give you so many potential outcomes and so much inner interest in making that potential manifest into reality that you will do the best of your efforts into ensuring that it happens. Once again, I think at this point it should be fully understood, if your reasons are not strong enough, you're not going to be capable of surviving things like moments in which you have to question, or somebody comes from the outside and questions why what you are doing is necessarily good and why what you are doing is necessarily useful. So certainly you will face problems, and you will face challenges, and you will face contradictions, and you will face so many things. So if the potential that you perceive isn't big enough, nor the different explanations that you decided to integrate as reals are not even close to being fully developed into something that you can, without a single minimal speck of doubt, accept as true, if you don't have those things, you will probably suffer measurably, because it means that you're going to have to deal with different problems that we mentioned before. I don't think it is really necessary to explain them once again. But yeah, purposelessness, feelings of being lost, and the final and worst one, deciding that it is better for you to exterminate your own existence instead of maintaining it, whatever it is, whatever. So yeah, that is the side of the why, as rational beings, we see it as necessary, or we kind of justified it for ourselves more than anything else, as it certainly happens that we don't have that much of a whole knowledge about this, at least for now. Maybe, and that is once again the whole side of potential, I guess, talking from me. Maybe in the future we're going to see something that is objectively true. Like, wow, it is all justified because every human being will be capable of obtaining this and that. We don't know yet. We don't even know why it will be fully objectively true to endure these type of things. Yeah, I I don't know. I think I might have hydrated too much because I will have to take now second idle break. My bad. I didn't wish for this to happen so much, but yeah, let me take another break. Sorry for that. Yeah, break. Anyways, we're back. I'm, I haven't I haven't bitten too much by mosquitoes. I am full itchy right now. This is horrible. Anyways, let me go back. So yeah, I might as well try to round up this. I wanted to have a conclusion about all that was related to. Yeah, I started the first one kind of at some point or another. I mentioned what was the whole. Was it? I don't even remember right now. A philosopher's explanation about this, and it all made kind of sense. But the problem is, you, you yeah, it was about Albert Camus, and it made sense, but when you don't put it like how I decided to put it here, that is when it makes sense. Because here the problem is, here let me go from here. We're talking about rational beings, and we're talking about animal instincts and such. And the problem is, you are simply seeing it as something born out of the rationality that exists on the human being. Eh, I could try to explain it. I mean, I don't have any particular excuse as to why not to do so. When it comes from the side of trying to justify why supposedly Albert Camus was right about this. Um, but the problem is it also can get fully from this point of view. I don't think there is that much that can really uphold itself. I think. I mean, yeah, you're simply like you're simply justifying the reasons as to why you're doing these type of actions. So you can't find any way in which you can see it as fully good without simply implying that things should be one way or another, let's say. But I don't know. I mean, I am no philosopher, so it makes no real sense for me to try and supposedly attack an idea of somebody else like this. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I have this too much about this, so let me search for the proper name, just so that I don't fail on this, and after that I will continue. Here, okay. Um, so there it is. I I might have gotten the brainwash of believing that it was written like this. I guess I never really paid attention to classes when they said Camus, Albert Camus. But yeah. um, so, I, how short can I make it? I mean, that is kind of the problem here also. Because certainly what he proposed was, once again, ingraining that all of these things should be grounded in wow, the human has any particular potential, and wow, this and that. Aha, there is also a problem. I don't remember the proper terms, so I will completely butcher up the concept that he properly delivered for the sake of making my own argument. This is, yeah, this is painful to behold, I think. Sorry for this. If this makes no sense at all for those who know minimally good about what I'm going to mention about. But something like know. I I guess that I might have found myself or created inside myself a certainly contrarian point of view from everything that is related to wishing to be an existing being, let's say. Because I don't know. Yeah, I will have to deal with this properly by myself. But yes. Anyways, the response to this idea that is not really that complex here is, or well, I mean, I didn't fully explain it. Sorry, I didn't explain it. First and foremost, sorry. Albert Camus proposes that in a world in which so many things are irrational, the human being who decides to exist should be content with the notion that they might as well try to ensure their own survival, and that they shouldn't worry so much about the different questions and so many deep concepts that surround this world, because certainly it is almost unnecessary for the human being to question so many things and to delve so much on different questions, because the irrational cannot be in any way particularly explained and only to be justified by different rationalizations born from the human mind, obviously. So you can't really deal with different things that you have in front of you if you can't in any way whatsoever see them to be fully explained and to be fully displayed in front of you and to know that they are the completely correct options. And in this same line, it happens that the way in which the human should act is to simply accept that things will be like that and that things might as well not have any particular explanation, and that you might as well have the possibility of simply going to a deeper level of understanding in which you know that you might as well simply exist. Because it was what happened before and what will keep happening. Things will keep existing so far, and you might as well try in some certain extent. It also mentions that it is necessary for you to try and help to keep progressing with what is existing, not only for you, not only for you, sorry, because we don't really get to know in this case if it was true that existing in a prolonged manner means that you're going to get any particular benefit or not. Sadly, uh, yeah, there is a kind of problem here, and that was mm, trying to respond to Camus is kind of problematic. Hello, hello, hello. Everything fine so far. I mean, I am trying to round up the idea, but I am also noticing that I might have found some problems inside of what I was trying to do since the start. Now that I'm finishing all of this, because um, Camus didn't fully develop what he was thinking about. That is the problem here. He didn't really fully give a sense as to why it was necessary for you to keep existing. He was starting to not simply improvise, sorry. He was starting to delve and he was starting to try and put into a more solid understanding of reality. Why would it be minimally useful for the human being to keep existing? In a more in part understandable way, he was trying to go for the spiritual route on his later age, quote unquote. The problem is because he also knew he was going to die so early, he wrote a lot early on his life, and his death left more questions without proper answers than what it really fulfills. In, in that sense, Camus is somebody who takes a lot from Nietzsche and who tries to explain so many of the different things from the side of the world should not be so much of a problem that you are finding yourself in, because certainly it is something that you cannot in any particular way whatsoever feel like it can be avoided, let's say. But it happens that we haven't found the proper response, the objective one, let's say. And it is amazing to see why, particularly, we can decide that these are the explanations that we can give as to, yeah, I mean, I can see why it would be necessary for me to have a job, and or it would be necessary for my friends to maintain their different types of relations with others. But we don't have one that can apply to every single human being. That is the biggest problem here. And to notice that all of these things, going back into this one arrow here, um, are only born out of rationalizing what is our existence. Lets us learn that there might as well, so far, not be a conclusive response to this one question. The one objective will, I guess, from my side, obviously be to try and avoid the consequence of what I have in so many ways explained before. It won't be in any way whatsoever beneficial for the individual to believe that it is necessary to remove themselves from being alive. But if you can't by yourself define something that makes it worth it, it is as painful as it gets, and it is as incredibly bad as it would be, because we don't have any one explanation that can fit everyone. And now I guess I can understand kind of this one philosopher that I read about. Let me see. I have it on my notes. At least this one I have it on my notes. Let me see. Yeah, here. It was Fernando Pessoa who decided to also postulate the same idea. It sadly happens that when the individual is depressed, they will believe that the rationalization of everything being not so worth of enduring might as well take the biggest control of their life. And if you allow it to be so possessive of your own existence that it leads you to a pained one, or even worse, to one in which you decide to not simply take your own life, but rather make it as harshful as it can be to yourself. It is then in those points that you realize you might as well not simply have made an error. You decided to put so much pressure into what you are as a human being who can have it so good that, and I guess that is the problem. How can we properly say you made a wrong decision? that is so far the only problem that we have. But yeah, at least on my point of view, it shouldn't be how to say it. It shouldn't be something to feel happy about. That wow, we are going through so much pain because wow, you decided that life wasn't worth living for you or whatever. There are so many ways in which you can enjoy existing, and this is, I guess, the conclusion. I don't have that much more to continue. I might have reached the final point earlier than expected, but yeah, you can't in any way whatsoever um, fully make this an objective response, but you can, by trying to craft one that fits you particularly, say that it was worth living, and that even if the final days might as well be full of pain, as it happens with every single thing that has to end, you first and foremost have the capacity of not enduring so much tribulations throughout the wholeness of your existence on one hand, and on the second one, you also have the capacity of, when those times come, after knowing that you tried your best, make it not so painful. But yeah, that is kind of the justification that I can give. Problem is, once again, this is a rational explanation. There is no completely objective one. We haven't found the one gene that made us all conscious, or that made every living being to ask particularly to that one thing, why would we try to keep living? So sadly, we don't have a proper explanation as to why it is worth it. But we can try to suffice that necessity with the interest of saying maybe it is worth trying living. Maybe we don't have the capacity of saying it fully, and to believe that what I am saying, once I can go back, believe that what I am, if you said to believe that what I am saying is fully true, you might as well fall into giving more credit to my words than what it really is worth of. You might as well try to craft your own explanation. Once again, I can't give you one that will fill every single hole. It is in your hands to do so. So yes, something like that, I guess, is the whole explanation of this. I don't know if it answered any question whatsoever or not. But yeah, this is first page, and this is second one, basically. Thanks for being here. Wow, we did it basically. And this is nothing. This is a void. Uh, but yeah, basically we did it. I guess we survived a little bit of. I don't know. I don't even know how to call it. I guess I don't even know how to call it. But yeah, explanations. Things that deserve to be explained. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We did it. That's the whole point here. But yeah, once again, or not once again, I think I never said it here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking so far. And well, I guess this is obviously necessary for me to say, just in case, sorry if it sounded depressing. That is the reality of things, the state of the matter so far. We don't have a proper explanation, my brother. You can believe whatever you want, or you can believe nothing at all. That is in your hands, man. I can't change anything about it. So yeah, that's it, I guess. But yeah, now let us try to finish this properly. Let me see. Let me try to find somebody to write. Because we don't have that much more to say. We don't have anything else to say in reality. In reality. But yeah, once again, thanks. It was nice, I guess. It was beautiful. As it is always to use a little bit of the brain. I feel so. I don't know. I don't know. It was nice. Ah. Um, very. I I hope you didn't just not in the sense of trying to guilt trip you, but rather I hope you can watch everything so that it has more proper what is it more proper body, because that is rather the finishing part where it sadly can get explained. The rest of the things can get slowly explained, but it happens that there is no conclusive explanation for anything of this sort. So for me to say that what I am talking about is the real truth or whatever is sadly something emotional, because it will be amazing to say, you know what I'm saying is real. You have to believe. No, I don't have it. I don't have the final word on this, nor anybody else has the final explanation needed for being here. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, as they say. But yeah, hopium. I guess now we are really driven by hopium, driven by what's left of our own existence. I guess I don't know. Um, Once again, I think if it isn't obvious enough, try to find something interesting. Try to find something motivating for yourself. You can find it, and that's the whole message. I think that you can find something so motivating that even if you were to be faced with a reality, supposedly, of things having no possibility of making sense, you will still feel like it was completely worth it to craft your own response to the question of why would I try to exist instead of terminating myself as early as I can. Something like that. You can make it. You can create something so good that maybe it can also motivate everyone else around you. So far, we don't have the capacity. In the future, we might try. Yeah. Vtubing, watching content, whatever it is. Uh, or being a VTuber yourself, like you are doing, crack. But yeah, something like that. I don't know. It was nice still. So yeah, as I said, I guess we're going to run it up over here. I don't want to overextend my stay in this case, as the bitter truth is we don't have the capacity of fully answering anything. But anyways, as always, while we are making the raid, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, thanks for lurking, thanks for watching the VOD also, thanks for everything. It was obviously something beautiful to discuss and something amazing to see and to hear about. Probably, I don't even know, I might try to stream tomorrow, I don't even know if I will do it, so yeah. We had a nice time anyways, so that's what matters the most. So yeah, let me see. Can we get a right message? Bot, are you working? Bot. Okay, there it is. Amazing. We have the bot working. Anyways, yes. Thanks for being here, thanks for watching, thanks for lurking, thanks for every single part. Obviously, today in particular, thanks to Bunkum, Beryl, and Krangrak for being here. Sorry for not saying any particular other name if I have forgotten to see it, or if I had to say it and I didn't do it properly. Sorry. It was beautiful, and whenever we have the possibility for getting back here, at least so far, we know that we enjoy being here, and we have the hope of finding something useful in our own areas. Now we're going to ride Skitch, who is playing Helldivers, right? Yeah, who? No. Who is playing Final Fantasy 14 online? Anyways, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for being here.